It's election day, have you heard? And many of us are going to have a hard time sleeping tonight and possibly for days to come. Here are some tips on getting a good night's sleep from the Harvard Medical School. Please welcome Dr. Rebecca Robbins.
Thank you.
Doctor.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Dr. Rebecca, it is great to have you here. So let's dive right into it. A lot of people are planning to drink the night away. And I no longer drink, but I know a lot of people that drink heavily on election night. Does that help with sleep? Because Michael Gelman, who drinks heavily 3 to 4 to 5 nights a week,
For every local election.
says that it initially helps him fall asleep, but then something happens.
Well, that's exactly it. And maybe you're going to be celebrating tonight. You know, if there's good news, fingers crossed. If not, you might want to drown your sorrows. But a lot of us also are just going to turn to alcohol to cope with these hugely stressful times. But alcohol and sleep. So if you consume, maybe 1 glass, great for sleep, just like Michael said, and that might help you fall asleep earlier in the day. I'm not, encouraging day drinking, but but the problem is close to bed. More than 1 drink will unfortunately cause us to wake up from some of the deepest and most restorative stages of sleep, and so you'll wake up having maybe slept 7 or 8 hours, but you're not going to feel very well rested.
Someone you're looking at likes to eat late. It's part of their program. Do you recommend that, or is that something that causes you to have rough sleep?
I'm a late eater. It's part of my intermittent eating plan.
I hear about this. It's the new
It could be the new trend.
So nutrition and sleep. The old nutrition advice that to eat a breakfast of kings and then a lunch of princes and a dinner of paupers is good for kind of weight management, but also when it comes to sleep. So we do want to kind of structure our calorie consumption to be earlier in the day and try to taper off kind of close to bedtime. But tonight, a lot of people I'm sure are going to be ordering takeout and enjoying with friends.
But do chestnuts keep you awake? Because I think the chestnuts can make you fall asleep. Chestnuts soothe you.
Ryan, we can study that. So
yeah, we should study the chestnuts.
We should do that.
What about watching the news? And a lot of people will be following the polls, and what I am constantly on my news feed. Like, I can't get off of my news feed, and I know I shouldn't take my iPad to bed, but I just can't help myself. What does that do to your sleep?
Over the last couple of months, we've seen this in some of our studies. People just consuming so much more news than kind of in the pre-pandemic times. But now in particular and today, everyone is going to want information as soon as it's released. So today in particular, maybe try to find 1 news source that you can follow over the course of the night. Trusted news source. And then do avoid the social media scroll. They call it doom scrolling. I just heard that recently.
Doom scrolling.
Because it's just also depressing. And
yes, it is.
You keep scrolling into the doom and gloom. But what we need before bed is we want to feel soothed and at ease and peaceful. And social media is not going to give you that tonight.
Right. Ryan listens to chamber
avoid
music. He hires a Philharmonic to play him music.
Matter of fact, it's early. Let's read the comments during this commercial break. And we'll come back and we'll talk more about good sleep after this. Stay with us. Back with Dr. Rebecca, more tips on sleep. So I find myself tired, but then I put my head on the pillow and I start thinking about everything I've got to do the next day. How do we calm down those voices in the mind before you sleep?
Isn't that remarkable? And often it's things that are so small, picking up the dry cleaning or, calling mom tomorrow.
But a list of them.
Totally. So here are a couple strategies. Keep a stack of note cards on your nightstand, and whatever's flying through your mind, however small or big, because if the big stuff also keeps us awake, and just write it down.
What about when it's dark? Do I just scribble it, or do I have to turn the lights on?
This is really great. This is a great technical question. I love the details. Light is not ideal before bed. We do want to have ideally lamps that are maybe on dimmers, so you can turn down the brightness. But the color of light also matters. So if you can get like a sleepy time light they sell now, and they're a warmer hue, it's a red or an orange, and that's actually sleep inducing, whereas blue has an alerting effect, which is why screens are so damaging before sleep.
And blue also makes you look awful.
Okay.
By the way.
There we go.
Not too many viewings going on.
Brian wanted me to ask you this because he's too shy to ask.
I did, thank you.
But what about intimacy with a partner or a theoretical partner?
Or not.
At some point.
Lack thereof. So let's go there. Sex produces things that are in some cases good for sleep. Reduction in cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So intimacy with your partner can be good. You know, if you're up for it, why not go out with a bang? And we actually have science on this too. So we asked men and women about their sexual encounters with their partners and their sleep quality. And what we found is there's a pronounced gender difference here. So men report many more sleep benefits after intimacy. They're like falling right asleep.
I mean, sometimes in the middle of the act.
Kelly wanted me to ask, is it as effective on FaceTime?
Again, we can study that. We can.
Again, a couple studies, we're just pitching ideas, all right, Doctor? KellyandRyan.com for all of Dr. Robin's advice and more. Thank you for being here. Good stuff.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Sleep well.
When we return, we're going to meet a family who turned their hobby into a business, so stick around.